Welcome, Jordan here. If you were to stop working for 7 days, who would you be? That question in itself holds a lot of weight. We live in such a frantically obsessed world that is craving at every moment the dopamine that comes from the screens, the progress, the achievement. It's all in the mind. And when it's all in the mind, we are being pulled forward and we are out of alignment with our soul. So, what does it mean to stop? What does it mean to actually bring ourselves to a halt for 7 days and see what comes up in that space? Because I'll never forget the time I did this for the very first time. I was in the process of building my agency a couple of years ago. I was living in Spain, things were great. Life was pretty good. I checked a lot of boxes that a younger version of me would have loved to experience, and I was very grateful for that. But any time I was to sit in silence and just stop, not watch a YouTube video, not try to learn something new, not try to work, not try to take a call, not try to generate leads or clients, just to sit in silence. And I could not, for the life of me, deal with how loud the silence was. And that to me was the initiation into what the last 3 years have been for me, which is this recalibration of identity, this building of who I am now compared to who I was before. But it was uncomfortable. So when we sit in the silence and we can't sit with it, we feel like there's this just underlying tension, needing to do something to fill the space. Then there's a deeper question that's being asked. You're being called to go deeper within yourself, to truly uncover what it means to understand what is going on at a deeper level. And even though, for me, I was meditating at least once a day in the morning, so I was kind of doing the right things, but had I gone into the depth that I could have gone into? I'm not sure. I don't know. But it was only when I faced the music, the loudness of the silence, was when I started to uncover the deeper layers of what was driving my business, what was driving my behaviors, how I was truly showing up in the world. And I won't lie to you, it was uncomfortable. I was living in this uncomfortable state where all of the unconscious parts of me that have been driving my behavior for many years, things that I had not resolved, things that came up in a variety of different ways across my life that were being shown to me throughout my life and relationships and business alone, all of that started to show itself. Now, the skill that is developed in those times is being able to sit with that, not to dwell in it, not to let it consume you like it's this negative thing and you just have to sit with all of this pain or uncomfortable things, but it's learning to zoom out to see what is actually going on underneath the surface, and to being able to detach from the meaning, the stories, and the patterns that are coming up, and that pointed me in this other journey that led me to do what I do today. So when there's this energy that starts to come to the surface, when we sit in silence or we can't relax, we're being asked to challenge that. We're being asked to look at that. And sometimes, it can pass in up to 90 seconds. There's a study out there that says an emotion can pass in up to 90 seconds because that's all that energy really is. That uncomfortable feeling is an emotion that has been not felt fully. Like, we're not taught how to manage our emotions. We're not taught to actually go deeper into these aspects. And how that manifests in physical reality is that you're emotionally distant in your relationships. You're not able to truly connect with yourself, and therefore you're not truly be able to connect deeper with other people either. You're disconnected from truly what you're doing because it's just all about the mind. It's all about the doing. It's all about the logical, the data, the metrics, all of it. But you're disconnected from what truly brings deep fulfillment in your life. That's where I was as well. So when we're sitting in this uncomfortable place, we are truly diving deeper into what it truly means to learn who you are, what it means to be you, and developing the perspective that allows you to zoom out and see the things that are under the surface are not you, they're not part of who you are, but they do need to be looked at in some way, shape, or form. So this is an invitation to set a challenge for yourself. What would 7 days of silence look like? It doesn't have to be a silent retreat. It doesn't have to be something where you're overly, intentionally being silent. You can do that if you'd like. But even just to detach from work, take a holiday, relax, not have to do all the time, and just see what comes up. Who would you be? Because oftentimes in business, we can start to create this identity of, I am this person, I am this business owner, I am an entrepreneur, I do things this way, this is where my value comes from. Big key word there, this is where my value comes from. It comes from what I do. But your value does not come from what you do, it comes from you simply existing as a human being. Receive that for a second. Just receive that. Your value does not come from what you do. It comes from you simply existing as a human being. And oftentimes, these beliefs that cause us to think that that is not true, and it only comes from what I do. I have to create my value. I have to build myself into this person. And yes, go on the journey of building yourself into this person. We're not saying to do nothing. But you can do it from a place of knowing your worth already, simply by just existing. Because if you were to look at a newborn baby, you don't say this baby is valuable when they can walk, or when they do this. They're a human being. They're valuable just being who they are, being what they are. It's the same with you. But oftentimes this layer of programming from childhood, oftentimes sets these things in motion where we start to adopt the belief that we are not valuable until we perform, until we wear the mask, until we say the thing, until we be who other people want us to be. And that manifests physically in terms of this disconnection from self, this disconnection from the emotions that haven't been felt. It's deep stuff, but it's where the true essence of what it means to be you unfolds. That's where your inner power, embodied leadership comes from, because you are able to hold the weight of your own emotion in a powerful way, which means you can also do that for your woman. You can also do that for your family, for others, for your clients, the people you serve. But if there's this avoidance of the darker aspects of you, the unconscious parts of you that have not been addressed, that creates this brittle identity that can be stripped away from you at any moment, because you think that your value is in what you do. And yes, what you do can be valuable in the marketplace or to others, but it's not you at the deepest level. So when you take a break for 7 days and you ask yourself, who am I? That's when you uncover what it truly means to be you, and uncovering what that means in terms of knowing your own value. It's a simple thing, but creating that silence for ourselves really brings us into this understanding that we're already whole, we're already there. We don't need to prove ourselves, we don't need to perform, we don't need to wear the masks. We can simply be. And then from that place, we do. We create. We build. It's a different frequency you're building from. Because when you don't have that connection with yourself that's built through those times of silence, you're constantly in this warrior energy of, I need to go out, I need to prove, I need to go to war. There's nothing wrong with that. But the energy that you're coming from is coming from lack, fear, disconnection. That manifests in your relationships, business, in every way, shape, or form. And you will continuously be mirrored back the lessons to point you back into yourself, so that you can understand your value comes from within. That's an internal journey. This is exactly what I help men do. If you want to go deeper on aspects of working with me to uncover that and have someone there to support you in a way that's going to be challenging, but also transform at the deepest level, you're going to want to check out working with me. You can do so in some of the links down below. So challenge yourself. What would it mean for you to stop for 7 days and to simply ask yourself, who am I without the work, without the output? Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Much love.